Hi everyone, to our next installment of acrylic painting techniques. With this one we are going to go over large stroke and small stroke. These are pretty similar techniques that deal with using a flat brush, although you could use a round. This is a round. It has a rounded tip and all of the bristles are in a circular form around the handle of the brush. But I'm going to be using my flat, and what I like to do with this is I like to get it just a little bit wet and then pull that water out so that the point of my flat is really nice and thin. It gives me nice, large and short, thin strokes. So I'm going to start with my phthalo blue, and I am just going to paint back and forth across, making nice long strokes with my paintbrush. You could also do this vertically. I'm more comfortable with working horizontal, so that is why I am working this way right now. So now I'm just picking up some yellow, and I didn't even wipe my brush off. I'm just adding that yellow in there, because as you can see, you are supposed to be working with two colors for this section. It'll allow you to see how those two colors combine and how you can work with two colors in an area and have them blend but still keep a texture. So this has really nice long lines. This would be perfect for water, although you might not want to use yellow if you're doing water. Try and fill up the space and go from end to end. I'm going to add a little bit of white in here too. This can build up some actual texture, so if you are laying the paint down pretty thick, you will get a visual texture where it looks like it would be bumpy, or you can get an actual texture, and you can get an actual texture that will actually be bumpy. So that's large stroke. You could see that my paintbrush went all the way across the box every time. Now I'm getting my paintbrush wet, getting my paint out of my brush, and then drying it off just like we have before, pulling on the bristles just a little bit to really flatten them out. And I'm going to pick up more phthalo blue, but this time in this section I'm just going to do small strokes. So I'm going to fill in a section with just little tiny blobs of paint, and I can go in either direction. I can pull my paintbrush from right to left, or I can pull my paintbrush from left to right. It all depends on what you're most comfortable with. By laying down globs of paint like I am, they're not like super thick globs, but they are globs of paint. It will allow that paint to dry slower, and then I can mix more of this yellow into it. You can work pretty slow with this and be really accurate and really careful, but this technique doesn't necessarily need that. So it allows you to really play around with the paint and the texture and the actual texture, creating lots and lots of thickness to your paint. One of the reasons why I like this is because you can build up that actual texture, and it can have a look almost like oil painting, but it will dry a lot faster than oil painting. Oil has to kind of cure as it dries, whereas your acrylic paint, the water evaporates out of it. And then this short stroke has an actual texture as well as a visual texture. So our next installment, we'll be working on some of the other texture samples. So hatching, stippling, scumbling, and cross hatching. These are all things that we have done before, but it will be new in paint. So stay tuned for that and watch the next video.